Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War with a Great War mod. We're playing as Serbia in World War I. Now, from time to time in this mod you get these infographs turning up with historical information relating to the time or the end turn you end up on. So this is early July 1915, and we have the Lusitania sunk. A German U-boat has sunk the RMS Lusitania just 18 kilometers off the coast of Ireland, costing 1,191 lives out of 1,962 souls aboard. Cost their lives. While the German claimed the ship was carrying wartime contraband, the United States and Great Britain contested, claiming the ship was strictly civilian. So a lot of hands lost there in one of the important events of World War I. With that said, last time around we had the first battle of Belgrade. We saw the troops recruited there. And what we did after the battle was we moved some of the force, or the majority of the force, to protect the bridge to the north of town, as the attackers coming from the south were dealt with. Now the Greeks actually retreated into the forest somewhere here. I wonder if they're going to turn up, they're going to actually move through the forest all the way over here. It's going to take them quite some time. But with me actually taking control of and protecting the bridge, the Ottoman actually decided that, you know what, we're going to try to bypass them. So they moved back, and they moved around to try and go this way. So the army that was coming at us, this one, moved back. They were about here, so they moved back here, where this army was actually stationed. So that one moved back here. So they've moved back away from the front line, and then you wonder what happened then down at Constantinople. Well, in some sort of, I don't know how really, this army bypassed us. They just went around us. So they didn't attack. So I have no clue why. But it makes it so much easier for me. Because instead of having the prospect of fighting 2 battles, or a total of 3 battles, now I only have to fight 1. Because I thought the Ottomans were going to pile on and try to force their way across the bridge. So that would be 1 battle. I thought I would have to fight the enemy here at 1 battle, and then another one, of course, of fighting Constantinople. Now I only have to fight Constantinople, and I can wipe out these 3 Ottoman forces without a single shot being fired in anger at them. And that's what we're going to do today. So it's astonishing how the AI managed to screw up that bad, having such an advantage in numbers on like a localized front. I think if we compare forces in total, we would probably end up quite equal to the Ottomans. But in a localized fashion, they have a lot more troops, you know, concentrated towards my capital. Really stupid, but that's the AI for you. So let's march, lay siege to the Ottoman capital, and you know what, without further ado, I say that every time and then I go on for like a minute or 2 anyways, but for now let's go ahead and attack, shall we? The plan is relatively simple here. We're gonna rush the enemy as soon as possible. What I've set up is I've got my 3 very veteran artillery pieces set up as close to the border as I can, which means that we do cover a lot of their army. We can see we cover their artillery piece, which hopefully it gets annihilated the second we start. Then we've also can aim at their cavalry on this flank, plus a load of infantry. So they're all good. So as soon as I start, I will just rush the infantry forward. We'll try to create local superiority by concentrating our force there in a push like so, while my artillery just breaks them up completely. With that said, let's go ahead and start the battle. So I'm gonna send up my troops to advance to that position. Light infantry going into the flank. And then the artillery, waiting until my troops have passed, set to open fire. So I don't know how I guess in a sort of roleplay kind of way we can explain the fact that Putnik was able to, I don't know, maybe outmaneuver the Ottomans as he moved forward. That he was able to outmaneuver them, come around them and attack the capital. And hopefully seize it as well. What I'm going to do is we're going to take the explosive shot cannon. And I'm going to target the middle of that. But then for the shrapnel shot, I will concentrate that on the very blobby formation that the Ottomans taken. The Serbian troops, we're going to have to post one Serbian troop in the flank. I'm going to post that one over there. And then we are still receiving a bit of enemy fire, so I'm going to post it like that. With 3 units in reserve. And then the light infantry on the flank here in the forest. Hopefully we'll be able to tear down the enemy artillery piece. They're sending that cavalry unit in a very wide flank. I'm worried they might go for the artillery. Let's go for a more... let's see. I want to target this one, I think. Because then they will fire at the flank and they will hit kind of over there. So we'll hit the units that are moving kind of through. We should actually push forward to the point where we start shooting at the enemy while they are... Oh, we're starting to get hit by the light mortar battery. That is actually damaging us quite a bit. I want to get all the Ottomans kind of stuck together though, in a way. We're gonna send these reserves over to the flank. And let's make sure that you also are at fire well. I don't know where he's going. He's got a super wide flank. Lucky I actually posted this guy here. I'm gonna hold him there. Okay, so now there's rifle fire back and forth. We're shooting down the enemy general, which moved in between the fighting forces. Do my troops reach? They don't reach the Ottoman lines as of yet. This cannon is mostly torn up to the point where they actually stopped firing. We're gonna switch. The explosive shot's gonna be fired over here. Looks like the enemy cavalry is coming back. Let's shoot down this one. That should be the last cavalry unit in this region. This is actually quite bad. There's a lot of impossible terrain there. We should try and get onto the hill. And from there being able to just fire down at the Ottomans down here. Let's see, the explosive shots going in. They're moving the mortars. I'm gonna specifically tell them to target one of them. So the troops over here are starting to climb the hill. Not going too fast. I will move these troops forward. Looking at the map, the cavalry unit's back. So I didn't really have to worry about it. You can see that I have a lot less troops. Oh, this one's firing again. I can bring up the light infantry to fire at them. It's gonna be a tough fight here to see about seizing the hills from the Ottomans. They are turning a few troops over here. But I'm able to gain local superiority by concentrating my forces on the enemy's flank. They're not really pushing their forces into a major attack. Are you guys shooting at these guys? Yes, now we're ending that life of that cannon. The Ottomans are going now for a full-out assault. Yeah, they're done for. Come up and attack them in the back. We need to get you over there. And looks like the Ottoman force is slowly just melting away, attacking our troops here. Let's focus on the ones that still have some resemblance of morale. Enemy cavalry is closing in quickly from the back. Those mortars did quite a job on us. But not good enough. The Ottomans are kind of in disarray here, moving back and forth. They didn't really know what hit them here. Let's focus the artillery fire on the enemy mortars. Oh shit, the enemy's coming up behind us. I kind of knew they were going to flank me. I didn't know they were going to... It's kind of reverse psychology almost. As they moved over to that side just to come back and strike that side. Let's push forward. I don't know if we... Yeah, we need to kind of crest the hill here a little bit to be able to fire at them. So from that angle we're not really doing it. The Ottoman force was entirely crushed. I think a large part is... I don't know if how much it affects the units, the army units when they don't have a proper general. I do think it affects the units quite bad. Okay, there we go, they're crushed. So instead of having to fight all of those enemy troops, I fought this 8-minute battle, not even 10 minutes. And we secured victory. The Ottoman force slaughtered without proper command. All the good commanders were up front, unable to foresee this lightning strike at the enemy's capital. Or at their own capital, I should say. They were... they did surprisingly bad, the Ottomans. I thought they would be able to kill quite a few more of us. Some of these units did lose quite a lot, as we can see. But not nearly what I thought we might end up with. Anyways, let's go back to the campaign map, shall we? I was able to complete the battle and I occupied the town. I went on to explain a little bit how I was going to build up my strategy now when I was in more or less complete domination of the Balkans. It was more of a time issue when I was going to be able to delete the Greeks, as it were. Unfortunately, I was about to set up a trade agreement with Great Britain when the game crashed. Now, I've had problems before dealing with Turkey. It's linked to the fact when you do the fixed alliances that you cannot make one of these nations, certain nations, into vassals if you're on the opposite side. I remember, I can't exactly remember, I think it was the Russians and I tried to make them a vassal. I can't exactly remember, but then it crashed. Usually it should kind of work when I occupy, but it didn't this time around, and I'm not too sure why. The problem is also I can't load a save beyond there, and I've tried you know, creating it as a vassal. I've tried occupying it. And then, you know, I tried not to set a trade agreement with Great Britain, but then as soon as I end turn, it crashed. So I'm not entirely sure what it is that destroys it. The thing is, I played it yesterday and I tried so many times to get it to work, but because I have to play the battle every time beforehand, it became very difficult to actually test out different variations to see what would actually work. So unfortunately, I think I'm just gonna have to go ahead and abandon this, and we're gonna have to retry getting rid of the Ottomans some other way. Good news, though, is that I took a look at the port. So the Ottomans have built the military and naval academy port, and we still have the bug, it seems, that you're unable to recruit from this. Enable recruit and replenishment of naval infantry, but it does not actually enable the recruitment of ships. And that's the only port the Ottomans have. So if I sink their navy, I should be fine that way. And I guess we'll have to contain them some other way. Still though, it seems that I'm able to outsmart the Ottomans just by moving in between the bridges. It looks like they're going to be marching through here. I guess Putnik has to do a long way around march to go ahead and deal with the Greeks. Now, since I know a bit about the future and I took this over at one point, I got control of all of it, and I could see that the Greeks do have a full stack already trained and ready and on its way. Hopefully, though, I'll be able to bypass it with Putnik. I should be able to. What we need is to strengthen the north. The thing is, I made a lot more money once I took... I think I gained another 4,000. So, the fact... I mean, it messes up the campaign so much that it crashes around here. Thing is, I will be able to try and figure out what is wrong with why I couldn't take this over. But I want to do it in a way where I can actually auto-resolve the battle and get it done with quicker, so I don't have to go back, play the battle, then try to figure out a variation on how to do it. So for now, we're gonna have to leave that. And, I mean, there's not much for it. We're gonna go ahead and end the turn. And that's what we do right now. That did not take long, so I guess the enemy wants revenge. The troops within town actually moved out, and this should actually set me up to be able to test out the variations. If I'm able to thoroughly crush them like I did in the previous battle we had, then I should be able to just go in, auto-assault Constantinople and try to figure out some kind of variation where I can actually subdue the Turk. With that said, we're going to have a second battle. I don't think I will be able to show everything, but we'll show the crucial part of this battle. And then there's a lot of the work to be done to try and figure out how to actually defeat them. With that said, let's jump into battle, shall we? The enemy is getting mauled just as bad as in the last infantry. We can see them marching up in massed formation against my defense. Once again, a raid on the other side of a town. But as we can see, they're not doing too well. Well, there's still quite a few of them here, but that's because I just recently switched over to firing on the infantry rather than attacking their artillery, which I have subdued at this point. Only 4 crewmen left. And once they get through town, if they're even able to get that far, my men are arrayed behind trench lines, ready to fire upon them. And, I mean, looking at the state they're going in right now, I'm not entirely sure they'll make it that far. We might be able to do a pretty flawless victory here. It's just if their small light mortars there are able to inflict some damage. But otherwise we should be able to. This unit's lost quite a lot, actually. 79 out of 200 is left. That's kind of a big loss. I guess this is where their artillery focused in. They're slowly just marching in massed formation. Getting blown to bits by my artillery. We're gonna switch, have the artillery fire over there. Are we taking out the mortar crews? The explosive shot might be easier on that. And then the shrapnel on the infantry instead. Same for the center right there. And then as these guys kind of clump up... Oh, there's the second mortar. I do have my light infantry out here. The enemy general rode into a trap. It wasn't much of a general, it was just a hussar unit. But he rode up here and got ambushed by my flanking light infantry, which I'm now gonna send in another flank attempt to take out the mortar. At the same time, the Ottomans, they're even more clumped together as they move into the center of town here, and the shrapnel is just destroying them. And they're gonna get even more cramped as they move down the streets here. And once they get around here, my infantry will start to fire as well. Shots raining down on these guys, cutting them up. Still bravely march on the attack. Foolish commanders to send such brave men to their death. The problem could be if the enemy outflanks us. They have quite a number of troops moving this way. Question is if they would outflank me. The frontier troops are still hidden. Should still be sort of safe. Soon they're actually within range of the rifles. I was just 1 second away from actually saying muskets. They're not. Oh, now the troops up there are opening fire. It's quite long range, and there's a lot of debris and stuff in the way. So a lot of shots won't actually reach all the way over here. But enough of it will, to the point where I think we're gonna switch to where most of these guys are gonna get gunned down. Yeah, they're starting to retreat now. I think we switch the shrapnel over to the intact units over here. They're making their way through... Oh, these guys started... They were able to open fire a little bit before they were forced to retreat. And we got some units over here trying. Got another one over here. But we can see just how many they have lost marching up to this point. Doesn't look like they're gonna be able to use this mortar either. So, oh, we are actually getting targeted somewhere. Yeah, it is, the mortars are actually targeting us here. I'm not sure which one it is that has opened fire. This one's down to just 2 mortars. I might be able to get the enemy to rout just by concentrating such heavy fire onto their infantry that this would be such a power disparity on the battlefield with all their infantry running away. Oh, they have cavalry going up the main road trying to charge the position. I mean, the Ottomans are brave, but who in their right mind charges head on into such a prepared defense? Actually fire on that unit over there. Oh. He's on the other side of the hill though. Get up on top. So you can actually fire on him. Are retreating. We only need this unit to retreat as well. It's probably just seconds away. Let's focus on those mortars. This one will be dealt with by the infantry. Where did that cavalry unit go? Oh, he is coming this way, so he will ride into our fire. Most infantry units are breaking and running away. We're gonna move these guys up to the edge. And then these. Gonna start making it out here to attack these. I think though once this cavalry unit goes, the enemy should surrender. But because they'll have so few men on the field that I think they will just surrender and retreat. We mauled them pretty badly. The problem here, of course, is that we won't be able to replenish. I think maybe, I don't know where the border goes down in sort of where our border with the Greeks is, because we might be able to just go over the border before we go and attack the Greeks, and in so doing we'll be able to get reinforcement that way. Anyways, we can already see that the battle is over. Here's the result of the battle. They didn't lose as many men as last time we fought them, but it's basically the same result as the battle that we lost to the gods of the machine, as it were. We lost it to the crash. The 2 cargo ships have been recruited. I don't know if I dare send them out just yet though, but it's good that we have them just in case. We've got a heroic battle there. It's possible... Oh, did they put Ataturk in charge. They got fed up with losing, I guess. But I don't know if it's enough for me to just go ahead and auto-resolve. Hopefully it will, so I can kind of test out this different scenarios there. Here's the other full stack of Greeks coming up. At this point we do have machine guns to defend. The commander here is dug in. The Ottomans will get there. I wonder if I switch bridge, if I'll just keep the enemy going back and forth like that. It's not much use doing it that way though, because sooner or later, I mean, the enemy is being able to build up their infrastructure. I not so much. We'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here and try to figure out a way to get around this. Hopefully I do. If not, well, we'll fight the Greeks. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.